2013 regional 3-rep max overhead squat ladder. Love this one. Got a few concepts and tricks I want to go over with you. The first one, I want you to keep in mind that this does not have to be your snatch grip. You don't have to use your snatch grip to do this. I think a lot of people will kind of immediately think in those terms and go that way. And some people will have to use it, but let's talk about that. As an example, the further in you come from your snatch grip up to your jerk grip, the stronger you're going to be. As an example of that, I myself can overhead squat about 120% more with a jerk grip than I can my snatch grip. So it's a much stronger, more stable position if you have the flexibility to use it. Okay. The favorite athlete on this workout, especially since you get to go from the ground, got that extra little trick in there. It's going to be the one with versatility in Olympic lifts, obviously, right? And so that just means that you can power snatch, full snatch, power clean, full clean, power jerk, and split jerk kind of on command. Like whenever you need to pull it out, you can do it without a whole lot of warm-up or anything like that, right? Obviously the most efficient in the Olympic lifting, and that just means in all of those movements that I just mentioned, that there's no muscling going on. You're using technique, you're using all of your body, as much of your body as you possibly can on every single lift, and no muscling, okay? Flexible, you've got to be, to do really well in this workout, you've got to be really flexible in the bottom of your squat and with the barbell over your head, okay? So look out for those athletes that have that. The potential result, the highest potential result, if we're talking about, there's no time cap and there's no weight restraints. Somebody's going to lift the most possible weight in a 3-rep max overhead squat coming from the floor if they're using a full clean split jerk and then just hanging onto their jerk grip and getting their overhead squats in that way. So keep that in mind as we go and we head towards your best result, which we're getting to next. So for your best result, maybe that's you using your jerk grip, maybe that's you using your snatch grip, but let's see how we're going to figure that out. So the first thing we're going to do is test your narrow quality grip. And so what that means is that you're going to warm up really good. You're going to start with your snatch grip, do some overhead squats, a couple reps, bring your grip in a little bit, do it again, bring your grip in, and see how narrow you can possibly get. And so when I say quality, I mean with the arms locked out and the bar staying up over the top of you. Okay? So here, back in the slot, the arms are locked out, not here. If it's tugging you that far forward, then you need to go back out a little bit and consider that your narrowest grip that you can use. Alright? So, from there, once you find your limit, your best possible quality narrow grip, the grip that I'm going to recommend for you is going to be about 2 inches outside of that. Okay? And the reason why is because that's just going to give you a little bit of extra insurance to have some cushion overhead, some extra range of motion overhead in the bottom of that squat so you can be sure that it's not tugging too far forward on you. Okay? Now, if you are at least 2 inches inside of your jerk grip, let's go ahead and stick with your jerk grip. And that's going to be a huge advantage because think of all the overheads that you've done with your jerk grips, some heavy overheads, right? So you're going to be really strong with that grip, okay? If you are anything outside of that, 2 inches inside your jerk grip, so an inch inside, right at your jerk grip, maybe that's your limit, or anything outside of that, let's go, again, move it out about 2 inches, and let's go with that. So, if you're at your clean grip, what I'm going to recommend that you do is, to get this thing overhead, is that you just clean, just do a power clean or a full clean to get it up to your front rack position, okay? And if you're at your clean grip, then you can just jerk it from the front rack position and go ahead and do your overhead squats. If you're no more than 2 inches outside of that, you can experiment with doing your clean with that wider grip so you don't have to reposition in your front rack and split from there. Play with that a little bit. I've done that with a couple athletes that I've been working with a little bit, and it's worked out okay. You can modify your grip for this one workout. If you're out there 1 to 2 inches outside of your normal clean and jerk grip, it's not going to be a big deal. Okay, so let's play with that a little bit and see if you can get it. Okay, so recommended grip and then getting it overhead. Okay, so I'm going to talk about these in order of what I feel that I would recommend that you do. Okay, so again, if you're at your clean grip or if you're slightly outside of your clean grip, let's go power or full clean. And if you have to full clean it, it's not a huge deal. Okay, it's not going to take that much extra out of you especially if your power clean is going to be really ugly. Okay, so power or full clean it plus split. Now, why on that split? The reason why I want you to split is because if you power jerk it, that's going to require extra stability this way. And you're already fighting against that for 3 overhead squats. So don't be afraid to go ahead and split it. Get that efficient movement in there. Pull it back, settle in, and then overhead squat. Okay, so you have that extra stability. All right. So if you're going to have to go out more than 1 or 2 inches outside of your normal grip, let's go ahead and power or full clean it. Let's split clean it from the front. Let's lower it back down to the back. Reposition your hands, and let's split jerk again from behind. Now I know that's a process and it's energy consuming, but it's going to be necessary for you to get your best possible result. Okay. After that, you're just gonna do your thing with the overhead squat. Okay. So with some of these lighter loads, if some of you guys are going to need to start with the lower options there, and you're efficient in the full snatch, then maybe you can full snatch it with those lighter loads and do your thing. And maybe for the first or second set that you have, maybe you can do that. Play with that and experiment with it and see where you're at. If you need to go ahead and power snatch it, your hands are already in the position and go from there. You can maybe save a little bit of time there. Okay. As far as the actual overhead squat, when we finally actually get to the overhead squat, what I want you to think about in practice is, first of all, just make sure that you're breathing. Once you get it overhead into your position, make sure that you get a couple breaths, and then pull it in and brace yourself as much as you can. It's going to be very important as you go through these reps and in the bottom. Now, while you're in the bottom, if you get to that second and third rep and you're down there and you feel like you got to sit there for a second, not a big deal, and your breath goes out, just make sure you regain it before you stand back up, okay, while you're in the bottom. Don't be afraid to go slower. And what I want you to do is go slow on the first rep. I want you to try to go slower on the second rep than you did the first, slower on the third rep than you did the second. Now, whether you actually do that or not, probably not, but that's just going to hold you off from going too fast, okay? So practice that as well. Full range of motion squat. Go ahead and get that full range in, because there's no sense in guessing on this. If you're trying to guess where that criteria is, you may get called for a no rep, and you don't want to waste a rep on this. So just let yourself go down to your full range of motion, and you're good to go. Don't worry about it, okay? And with that said, don't be afraid to do this either. Take just a brief little pause, a half second or a second pause in the bottom, because if you're slamming in the bottom and you're changing directions too aggressive with the overhead squat, it's going to be jarring, and you have a better chance of losing it. So don't be afraid to throw a little bit of a pause in there, okay? Push back while you're standing. Make sure you push back at least a little bit while you're standing, and each rep that goes, the more tired you get. By the time you get to that third rep, you're really going to have to exaggerate back a little bit to keep that thing over the top, because as you get tired, that weight's just going to sink further and further forward, okay? Stance. The last thing I want you to consider is your stance. If you normally do overhead squats here, for example, and because you have a more narrow stance, play with this a little bit. Just pull your feet out just slightly more to see if that gives you just a little more stability for this workout, okay? So play with these things, guys. Practice them, experiment a little bit, and I really feel like it'll give you the best possible chance to throw up your best weight in the competition.